5 biggest mistakes beginners make with Caridina shrimp. Caridina shrimp are absolutely stunning, but they can be tricky to keep, especially for beginners. In this video, I'm going to review 5 biggest mistakes new shrimp keepers make and how you can avoid them. If you're serious about keeping your shrimp happy, healthy, stick around to the end for a bonus tip that could save your entire colony. Let's dive in. Hey everyone, it's Ray from RW Aquarium Pages. Let's talk about these mistakes beginners make for Caridina shrimp. Mistake number 1. Wrong water parameters. Caridina shrimp are not like Neocaridina, the cherry shrimp. They're much more sensitive to water conditions and their parameters. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is not setting up the right water parameters. But keep in mind, stability and the water parameters within range is key. Here are some approximations for correct parameters for a Caridina shrimp. The TDS should be about 100 to 150, which means the GH is about 4 to 6. KH ideally 0, but it can be under 1. And the pH can be 5.5 to 6.5. Less than 5 for high-end like galaxy fish bones and snowflakes, and 6 to 6.5 range for crystals, Taiwan bees, and tiger. If your KH is too high, your pH will fluctuate, leading to failed molts and dead shrimp. If your GH is off the charts, then your shrimp might have molting issues also. To combat this, it's best to use RO water and a shrimp-specific remineralizer like a GH booster. Make sure you test your water regularly with a TDS and test kits for GH, KH, ammonia, nitrates, nitrites. Mistake number 2 is overfeeding. You might think you're helping your shrimp by feeding them a lot, but for Caridina shrimp, overfeeding is one of the fastest ways you can destroy your tank. Why is it bad? Because overfeeding can cause ammonia spikes. It can also attract Planera and Hydra. This will lead to weakening your shrimp, and they might get bacteria infections, and then there will be shrimp deaths. So the best thing to do is to feed 2 or 3 times a week in small amounts, of course depending on your colony size. And it's best to remove uneaten food after about an hour or 2 hours. You can also use feeding dish to prevent the food from getting trapped in the substrate. Mistake number 3 is improper cycling and new tank syndrome. Many beginners rush to add shrimp into a new tank without properly cycling and letting it mature. This leads to sudden deaths and frustration. The signs that your tank isn't ready is, first of all, if the water is cloudy. Secondly, when you test your water, there's ammonia or nitrite spikes. And there's no biofilm or algae for the shrimp to graze on. How can we fix this? First of all, cycle your tank for at least 4 to 6 weeks, but sometimes up to 4 months when using 88 Amazonia, as it leaches ammonia for quite a while, and it stabilizes after a while. You can use sponge filter and beneficial bacteria products in the beginning to help start your cycle. And please wait until the ammonia and nitrate levels are 0 before adding shrimp. Mistake number 4 is using the wrong substrate for Caridina shrimp. Caridina shrimp need a soft acidic water, which means regular gravel or sand won't work. So you won't be able to use regular aquarium gravel, crushed coral which increases pH, or play sand or cheap sand that doesn't buffer pH. The best substrates I've used for Caridina is 88 Amazonia, Tropica, and aquareal neo and flugostranum. The ones I haven't tried but I can't really get in the region are the SL Aqua and the Bright Wells. But remember, you'll need to replace your substrate every year or so as it loses buffering capacity. Some of the substrates lower the pH under 6 and some of them keep them between 6 to 6.5, so it really depends on which type of Caridina shrimp you're keeping. Mistake number 5 is mixing the wrong shrimp together. And what I mean is, it might seem like a good idea to keep different Caridina shrimp together, but did you know that they will interbreed and sometimes create low quality hybrids? So some combinations to avoid is Crystal Reds and Taiwan Bees. You might get low grade hybrids. And mixing different types of tiger shrimp will give unpredictable results. But you can get some really unique patterns out of mixing shrimp together and crossbreeding Caridina shrimp. So to avoid this, make sure you research before mixing the species. And if you want multiple colors, it might be a good idea to stick to cherry or neo-Caridina shrimp instead. The bonus tip is a controversial one, but for beginners, I believe drip acclimation is a must. A sudden change in water parameters can shock your shrimp and kill them within hours. That's why you should always drip acclimatize them. To do it, you would use a clean container and drip water into it. I would drip it for at least 2 or 3 hours until the TDS matches the tank to the shrimp water, and then use a shrimp net and then move the shrimp into the tank, not putting the water into the tank. This simple step can double the survival rate, and I'd recommend this for beginners. With all that is said, there's another school of thought, which is drop and plop method. I don't recommend this method for beginners as it will shock your shrimp and might cause deaths. So now that you know these 5 biggest beginner mistakes, you're on your way to becoming a pro shrimp keeper. Comment below, what's the biggest mistake you've made with keeping shrimp? I'd love to hear your experiences. Thanks for watching and listening to my rambles. I really appreciate it. Happy shrimp keeping. Until next video.